The Seahawks had the most expensive safety group in the league last year, and it still wasn't that great, so let's change that. Hey 12s, welcome in. Today we're talking about the safety position. Obviously, this is a position that will not only need to be attacked in free agency, but also in the draft. Mike Macdonald loves running unique 3 safety looks, and although I will admit that that's probably due to Kyle Hamilton being such a unicorn, I still think that Seattle will use a lot more trios of safeties in 2024. Since I still believe the Hawks will be moving on from at least one, if not both, of their high-paid safeties in Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs, I think they will need to bring in reinforcements at this position in both free agency and the draft. So let's jump into 3 free agent safeties that I think would be really interesting in Seattle. First up, I want to talk about Micah Hyde. Micah Hyde is certainly a big name in the safety position, as he was at the top of the game just a few years ago. Now, at age 33, he's certainly towards the end of his career. However, I don't think that he's done, and I think he could still be a huge asset to the Hawks. I'm not going to lie and say that I was blown away by what Micah Hyde put on tape. For each of these guys, I just watched one game because I'm just trying to get a taste. Like, they might not be even Seahawks at any point in their careers, but I really did want to find out what these guys can bring. So for Micah, I watched the Week 18 game against the Miami Dolphins, and like I said, I wasn't blown away by anything that he did in the game. Watching safety film can definitely be a little bit boring because they're often too far away from the play to really make much of an impact, and this was certainly the case for Micah. In plays where he did have an impact, he was definitely up or down. As you can see on these plays, he does a great job diagnosing that it is a run play and crashing downhill. While he slows the ball carrier, he misses the open field tackle on both of these clips. This isn't super concerning because he does have just a 10% missed tackle percentage on the season, which for a safety, that's not actually that bad. Safeties are often asked to make the most difficult tackles as they're generally flying downhill, and these tackles are often in open space where the runner has a lot of advantages. I'm not even really disappointed by these missed tackles because he does a good enough job to slow down the back and allow his teammates to come make the tackle. I would say that the biggest strength of Hyde's game at this point is his man coverage ability on running backs and tight ends. I don't know if I would trust him against a speedster slot at wide receiver, but you can definitely line him up on these plays and see that he does a pretty good job of managing his man coverage assignments. If you watched my Julian Love film breakdown, link in the corner, you'll know that this is one of the parts of his game that is lacking. Here, Micah does a great job of staying close to the tight end and making sure that he's not going to get the ball. As for weaknesses in Micah, his speed is simply not elite or really even good at this point in his career. He often has the smarts and technique to make up for it, but this really limits his upside because he doesn't have that, flashy speed. I still think he would be a solid option because he's just a solid player. There generally isn't any big upside, but if the Seahawks want to draft and develop a guy, Hyde could be the answer. Hyde also played for Leslie Frazier, who is now the Seahawks assistant head coach, and this would be another guy that they could bring in to communicate the system, which is an important role. SpotTrack thinks he'll get a 1-year contract for about $4 million, and I think this would make a lot of sense for the Hawks. If the Seahawks looked at how they spent so much money on the position and said, never again, we just want to moneyball this thing, then this would be the optimal way. You can draft someone in the 2nd and 3rd round, bring in Micah Hyde for a cheap contract, and then have the new young guys take over for Micah Hyde, eventually, while Hyde takes the starting job for now. I think Micah Hyde is really interesting, and I would really appreciate if the Hawks made this move, because it would kind of fill in the hole in the short term and provide a mentor for your long-term replacement. But let's move on to another guy who I think could be more of a long-term starter, and that is Gino Stone. Ever since Mike Macdonald got hired in Seattle, everyone and their mother has been trying to give them some sort of Raven free agent. Gino Stone is one of the free agents that I think the Hawks might actually be interested in. Often when a coordinator becomes a head coach, they want to bring someone along with them to teach the defense to the rest of the team and communicate the culture they want to bring. Selecting a safety would be a great person because by alignment, they know where everyone on the defense should be. This is why I was initially interested in bringing in Stone, but after looking at his film, I think he's even more interesting. The biggest thing that I saw on Stone's tape is just how comfortable he is in playing off coverages or bracket coverages that Mike Macdonald ran a lot in Baltimore last year. This is a massive advantage for a safety to have because Mike Macdonald didn't really, feel comfortable leaving maybe some of his other safeties, but he really did feel comfortable leaving Stone on an island from depth. This is a really difficult thing to ask a safety to do, and Stone does it so well. To demonstrate this, let's look at this play against the Seahawks in Week 9. Here the Ravens are in a cover 1 hole call. This is actually how Mike Macdonald likes to call some of these coverages, because here it actually looks pre-snap like this is some sort of split field coverage. However, Stone is actually in man coverage against JSN. Despite the fact that Stone is so far off of JSN, he does a really good job of clicking and closing to make the open field tackle. This is exactly what Mike Macdonald wants from a safety, and Gino Stone brings it. As for concerns with Stone, I've heard some people say that he's more of a free safety, which wouldn't be a great scheme fit because I think Julian Love is a true free safety. I don't know if I fully agree that Stone can only play that free safety. I definitely think he can do it, and I think he's good at it. But I think you could definitely play him more as that box kind of guy. I just think he's really flexible, and I think that's one of the big benefits of this signing, if the Hawks choose to go towards Stone, is that he is just such a flexible guy, and he could really fill in wherever he is needed. But again, the fact that he might just be a free safety is really my only knock. Gino Stone would offer the Seahawks a middle-class safety contract, probably pretty similar to the one that Julian Love signed. And in this price, he would be a definite starter and provide the experience in position and scheme that would be hugely advantageous. I think this would be a really solid signing, and if you just want to fill the hole with another guy that is going to be good. He's going to be a good player, he's going to be a solid player. I don't see him being a star, but I do see him being, a very valuable role player, and if you just want to check the box and say, yep, we got a safety, this is the guy that I would go with. But let's conclude this video with the best and highest upside safety on the market, and that is Xavier McKenna. A second-round pick in 2020 out of Alabama, McKenna had an up-and-down career for most of his career so far. He broke his foot early in his rookie season and also broke his hand halfway through the 2022 campaign. These injuries aren't really concerning because they are kind of more freak accidents, and McKenna did show his durability in 2023 by playing every single snap, a feat that only one other player did. In fact, these injuries almost make him more appealing because he will be just 25 years old and really has only maybe 2 years of NFL experience at this point. The sky is the limit on this guy, and he has shown so much potential. McKenna offers a do-it-all skill set, and he's been asked to do anything and everything in his time at New York. He offers excellent speed and range to be the free safety, yet still has the power and the drive to be that strong safety enforcer type. So let me show you some crazy Wink Martindale coverages that highlight this flexibility. On this stat, McKenna starts at the line of scrimmage to the top of our screen. This look forces the Seahawks offensive line to count him as a potential immediate rusher, which messes up the entire protection call. You can see that the Seahawks slides towards McKenna's side because they need to make sure that they have enough guys over there to block it up. However, McKenna is not just dropping into coverage, he's actually tasked with being the free safety on this play. I can't really explain to you how crazy of an idea this is, but this is exactly how special McKenna is, and the Giants know it. They really only ask him to be this type of rangy athlete. He sprints back at top speed and is actually pretty close on this post route that Lockett is running here. If Drew Lock decided to throw this, I think McKenna was actually in a pretty good spot, which is absurd since he started at the line of scrimmage, right there with Lockett. As you can see in these clips that I'm showing you, the Giants ran this absurd coverage rotation with McKenna 3 times against the Seahawks alone. The fact that he's not only able to get to his landmark, but is actually able to read and react while he's flying back to 3 safety is just crazy impressive. But I think the biggest thing that I love about how McKenna plays is his physicality and effort on every single play. He is an amazing run defender and boasts just a 6.5% missed tackle percentage, which is crazy low for a safety, particularly one that ranked top 5 in total tackles last year. This kind of guy is the one that I would want to be on my defense because he fills so many holes over the middle and brings that presence against the run. The biggest issue, in my opinion, with McKenna is simply his cost. He is projected, according to SpotTrack, to get $10.4 million per year, and I think this is way too low. This would be a no-brainer type of price. I think it will probably be higher. Yeah, he does have the injury history and the lack of consistent elite production. That might drive down the cost, but this seems like the kind of guy that NFL teams want on their rosters. PFF projects that it'll get $13.5 million per year, and I think this is far more realistic. It could even be higher. If the Seahawks want to spend money at this position, this is the direction I want them to go. There are plenty of connections to the Seahawks beyond just the obvious scheme fit of a do-it-all kind of guy in Mike Macdonald's do-it-all type system. McKinney has played for Wink Martindale over these past 2 years, who, coincidentally, that was the guy that Mike Macdonald took over for when he stepped in Baltimore. McKinney also played with Julian Love for a couple of years, so he will have immediate chemistry with his safety pair. This signing would really make me confident in our safety room, and in my opinion, this would immediately make it a strength of the team again. All in all, this is the last piece to making the secondary elite, and if the Seahawks are really serious about competing in year one of the new Mike Macdonald era, then they should really take a good look at Xavier McKinney. Thank you so much for watching. This is probably the only pre-free agency video that I'm going to put out, so I'll see you after free agency. I'm super excited to see how this roster takes shape, so I will definitely give you my thoughts and film breakdowns after that. Please like and subscribe so you can keep up with everything we'll be doing throughout the offseason, and thanks for watching.